Hey there guys, so I wanted to talk about the loyalty store again. I'm sorry if this seems like I'm beating a dead horse, it's just I wanted to think about it more before I made a second video about this. I wanted to get that first one out after I had a little bit of time to think about it, but I always really hate when people make videos criticizing something about a game and then they don't offer any actual criticism or ways to improve it. Like, oh my gosh, Act 6 is hard, nerf Act 6, nerf the stupid fights like Acid Wash Mysterio, rather than nerf all of Act 6 because I didn't like Act 6. Something like that, right? They're just they don't give any actual feedback of what they don't like, so I didn't want to do that, so I wanted to actually think of ways I would change it. I mentioned a couple of them, I believe, in the previous video, but I just wanted to expand upon it. So I made this nice little document here in Word. I'm sorry if there's grammar errors. I was just kind of quickly typing it out before I left my house, but then when I got back, my keyboard isn't really working, but I want to get this video out, so I'm sorry if there's typos or not proper punctuation for any of the grammar freaks out there. I know this is not great grammar, and I might have even misspelled some stuff, but I'll just get right into this. So I don't know if I ordered this in the ways I would do it, but I think this one is the easiest one to implement as a change, even just for season 37 and onwards, would just be adding a new currency. Okay, wait, actually, maybe I should start at the fourth point. Maybe I should start at the fourth point down here, because I think that is a pretty important point for what I'm going to go on for this. So, when you look at the AQ and the AW system, it's very clear that, well, they're both the only two alliance modes, but they share a ton of similarities. You get rewards from completing the maps, right? For AQ, you get your crystals, and if it's map 5, let's say, you get your gold, your loyalty, or no, you get your gold and your battle chips, and you get some frags. For Alliance War, you get some shards, and you get some loyalty. Okay, 1 for 1, right? I feel like that's pretty fair, because for a while, Alliance Quest was resources, and Alliance War was more crystal shard based. So I felt like that trade made sense, and we needed a place to get loyalty for our boosts. Made sense. So, then you also have your rank rewards. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, I actually forgot one type of rewards in this. So you also have your rank rewards. Just TCN finishes first, they get first place rewards. If in War GT40 finishes first, they get first place rewards. Makes sense, very one-to-one. But then this is where it starts getting really weird. So loyalty was in the game before this other currency, but then you have glory, which I don't think there's a single player who dislikes the glory store, because the glory store is really, really good. Really good, right? You can buy tier 5 basic, you can buy anything you want outside of rank 4 materials in there. It is so good, the glory store. And then for War, you had the loyalty store, which is where you bought your power back boosts. And until 2 months ago, you didn't even buy your potions from there. You'd use glory for your war potions. So loyalty had very little purpose. And recently it's had purpose with your gray boosts and your power back boosts. But now they're shifting both of those to honestly being more unit based, so it really devalues loyalty more if it wasn't for this loyalty store. So the loyalty store kind of is needed there to make that more comparable to glory, but now you're not really able to use it on the things that loyalty was originally meant for, and you're honestly using it for what glory was meant for. And then you also have your crystals for 100%ing AQ, and you have your crystals for winning or for losing AW, which are both trash. Those crystals are garbage. No one uses them, no one likes them. So as I was saying, no one really uses them, no one likes those AW crystals, they just don't really give anything. And then you also lack an honor equivalent system, which I feel like would have also been a good place to use a new currency or just something for this loyalty store. For it gets you triple loyalty, something, I don't know, bro. But anything, any help would help out the war crystals in a replacement or an equivalent for honor. Of course, it doesn't need to be the exact same game mode. If the rewards work in the same way, it's kind of dumb. Because like if you think about it, you also have like the milestones for AQ. So you really have like two types of ranked rewards, with ranked rewards, milestones, and then you have honor, and then you have the store, and then you also have the crystals, where Alliance War just doesn't compete on all of those fronts. So I think adding in another one of those fronts where it comes from like the crystals that you're gonna get, it comes from an equivalent to an honor system, a milestone. I don't know if you really need to add that into Alliance War, because yeah. So now I'm gonna go back up to the top of the list because I realized I should start with 4 to like kind of show why that's a bit of an issue when you compare it to AQ specifically with how that works. So the main way I would have, if like I was a game designer, let's say, and the way I would introduce this, I would ignore loyalty, and I would have started a new currency. I don't know what I would call it. I don't know how you'd gain it. Something like, you know how there's the solo objective? Maybe you get it from that. You add in like an extra reward on every tier of that, or you get it for every win, every loss, like every war. Maybe you get it for end of season. And if you were to do it as the end of season, as I show up here, I don't think I would want it to be like how some of the rewards are kind of given out right now, because I feel like this is meant to balance out the way that AW rewards scale, because they scale so aggressively. Master, like the first place in Masters and the second bracket of Masters, 11 through 20, it's such a massive jump in the rank 4 materials that you get. So I think this is kind of meant to balance that out for like all the way down to like Plat 3, honestly, because you'll get a fair bit of loyalty even down there, I think. I'm pretty sure. So like you still get a fair bit of loyalty for down there. So it's meant to like help balance it out, and you can get more stuff that you really only see like whales getting, or you seeing people like, I mean, you've seen some of those like suicide swaps I had where I had like the one with like 2, and that wasn't even like the biggest war that I've heard of in GT40. So I think it shouldn't scale too aggressively. It's kind of meant to balance it out. But by balancing it out, of course, the people at the top are going to seem to get more, because we're also going to combine that with our ranked rewards, right? Like if I got those 2 on screen that I have, like the, or actually, because you can buy the 2. Let's say I spent like my 2 million loyalty on the full tier 3 alpha and the tier 6 basic. Well, then plus my pretty much other full 1 from the rewards, it's going to seem a lot better than someone down in like Plat 1 who could buy the same thing but won't have the Masters war rewards as well tied into it. So I don't think you should scale it too aggressively. You should keep it fairly similar, like for all the tiers. Maybe it goes up or down a little bit, but I don't think it should be like a massive one. It should be a slight incentive to push, because as I said in the other video, like the first day or 2 that this happened, a lot of Masters Alliance were considering just like deciding altogether to not like try too hard for this season, because this doesn't incentivize pushing in Alliance War. It's saying where you get your potions from, if you just don't buy the potions and the boosts at the end of the season, you can just buy the high tier reward anyway. So it's a little bit of a weird one there. So that would be how I would kind of think about that part. And then the other part would be, that was if you're doing like an end of season. There's a couple ways you could introduce that in, of course. But then I would consider making it kind of like loyalty, a very small, like each loyalty is worth very little. Because right, you're looking at 500,000 to purchase something. Like that's a lot of an item. It's a lot of a currency. So I'd keep it kind of similar, where it's like a very small value per whatever the new currency would be, and you would lower down the fragments by a lot, so that way you can choose more precisely what you want, instead of it being buying half of a catalyst. I don't know, that's something that I was kind of thinking about that I felt like would be nice, but I mean, buying a half a catalyst, like you're probably going to do that anyway. You're just going to go buy a full tier 3 alpha. But I feel like it'd be cool to have the option to like buy a bunch, like, so that way you can spread it out more evenly, instead of having to go in all 150 loyalty for the 5 sig stones. Maybe you just need like 1 or 2 sigs right now for some reason, or maybe you only need like 10% of a tier 5 CC selector. Maybe you only need a little bit of tier 3A, but you don't want to spend the full 500,000. I think that'd be a pretty cool change, is break it up into smaller chunks. It doesn't have to go down to like 1% chunks, but just smaller chunks. The other option, in my opinion, would be adding drastically more loyalty. Just everywhere that you get loyalty, more. Just more. The solo objective for just playing AW, throw in like hundreds of thousands of loyalty. War wins, just, I know we just had the loyalty update for that. Update it again. Double it. I don't know. Like, up the loyalty. Like, if you do all of these, of course, they all individually don't need to be as big, but update the War Victor and Loser crystals. As I mentioned, those things are just garbage. I have like 500 combined or something in my inventory, I feel like. I don't know, because I never look at them. I don't open them, I don't look at them, because they give me nothing. I think they give you some power boosts sometimes, really rarely, or like a little bit of loyalty. Up that. Make it give a lot of loyalty. Make it give good boosts. Make it give good potions. Make it give you something that you want, that you need. Or not need, but that you'd like to get, actually. Update the daily help limit. Maybe it compounds, so like the first day is 1,000, the second day is like 2,000, the third day is 4,000, and like it just keeps doubling. And maybe it has to reset every like 2 weeks to make it not go like too crazy on compound, like just doubling it or whatever. And then you could also do the same thing for like wars in a season. So let's say, right, you get like the 70,000 per win, but then at 3 wins, maybe you're getting 2 times loyalty now, or on that third win you're going to get a bonus like 300,000 loyalty. Something that again incentivizes winning wars, because again, this just doesn't incentivize directly winning wars. You want to win enough wars to up your loyalty, but you don't want to push too hard to where, or you don't need to push too hard to where you're spending all your loyalty. And that kind of is the adding the drastically more. That's a pretty simple one. The other one is detach our useful boosts from it without us having to spend units on it, because so for the past pretty much year, up until like 2 seasons ago I think it was pretty close to a year, we had the compensation because the game was in a pretty bad state. And if you really think about it, the game, in my opinion, it feels better, but there still are massive issues. I've seen so many disconnects. I see so many insane lags. I've had it in my fights. I've seen it in other friends' fights. Like, it literally just froze his champion. Or still there's the issues like you're trying to dex and it parries. You're trying to parry and you dex. And there still are clear issues, yet they decided to remove the compensation. I don't think it was quite time. That's a topic for a different video. I've got some stuff I want to say, bro. But I don't think the game is where it should be for no compensation. I'm not saying we need compensation still. I'm fine without compensation. But we had that for like a year, where every week you would get the 2 boosts of every type, plus the war boost crystals. That was insane, and everyone got used to that, and now that's kind of how Masters is fought. You're just gray boosting a ton. And if you couldn't buy it for units, and you could only get it through the loyalty store, that's about planning, that's about brains. But now with it in the unit store as well, like you just buy it for units, it's not. It's arena grinding or it's paying. So I personally don't think those should be attached to units, but that's a bit of a different thing. So detaching that, especially when we've not been used to it, but that it was in the game for almost a year, I believe, that you could just get those for free every single week. I don't think everything in this game should be free, but the war boosts were so commonly used, especially during that year, and even before that, and now after it, that, I don't know, it feels a bit weird to then ask people to pay units for it. But I understand that Kabam needs to make money as well, so that's why I understand that. But I don't like the idea. As I said, I hate the idea of using my units on that. And then the same for the power back boost. Detach those as well from the loyalty without it having to be in units. Because with the way the current power back boosts work, people used to use those for Legends runs or just to make content fun. This last EOP boss of the Warlock, that was literally the strategy for like 2 or 3 of your runs, is just put on a power back boost. Once this next season starts, are you going to be able to use a power back boost for something that trivial? EOP isn't easy by like any means for most people. Like, I'll use revives on EOP, I don't care. But yeah, if you use that power back boost there, it's so much better. So let's just remove really the ability to do that. If you're only buying one a week, why am I going to use it on EOP? Or do I have to time it where I boost with CGR and War, and I get through the boss, and I get my champion back, and I have to go straight into EOP right after fighting my War to then use the power back boost? Like, do I have to time content like that now to be able to use it? And that pretty much wraps that up. And I just wanted to put this down here at the bottom is I'm not a game designer. I don't work at Kabam. I haven't worked at like a game dev job or balancing of economics in a game. That I don't do that. So some of these ideas could literally just break MCOC and I don't realize it because I don't have that type of experience. But as I said, I wanted to actually put ideas out there about how I would consider fixing it. If these are dumb ideas, please let me know because, yeah, pretty much. I'd like to know if I'm being a complete idiot about these. So I hope that kind of makes sense from where I'm coming from. Is that there is a comparison of War to AQ until you get to the certain ones like the crystals, honor, and peak milestones. I don't think they have to make it a 1-for-1 like. If this gets milestones, this gets milestones. Doesn't need to be that. I would like to see some of the boosts detached from the loyalty if they don't change the store, and especially if they don't do number 2. Again, most of these wouldn't necessarily work in conjunction with each other. Like, if you detach the useful boost and you just, like, add more loyalty, it would really mess up how that works, because then you just buy, like, a full catalyst every month, and that would be kind of broken. So I don't think you should do necessarily like all of these at once. Like, oh, let's move the loyalty store to a new currency, add peak milestones in a glory system for War. Like, relax. Like that's not what I'm asking for here. I just would like to see some change. I hope some of these were good ideas, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I've done a couple of these, but there might be a couple more discussion type videos coming soon. But I'm also actually working, I swear, on a champion showcase video, and hopefully it's going to be pretty cool. I just need to get in a little bit of practice with that champion before I do it. But I'll be seeing you guys soon. Bye. Editing me here, and I realized I really need to get better about wrapping up videos, don't I?